Welcome to the Barstool College Football Show. We are here for week 3 of college football back in Chicago. We were on the road last week in Tuscaloosa, which, we are all wrong about the game, but it was still awesome to be there.
I'd put an asterisk. I was right about the game.
I was right about the game too. I just gave my mom my pick. I was being a nice son. I knew Texas was going to win. I knew Texas was going to win.
I thought Texas would play very close. I got swayed, which is, I guess, my fault. But when you go to a campus, you can't drink the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid. There's some pizza guy telling me they were going to win the national championship, and the quarterback mean mugged in the team photo. But I knew what the right answer was until I stepped on campus.
Well, that happens when we go to these live shows. The crowd gets rowdy. Dan, it was the first time you'd been to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, it was a great time. Great time, great crowd. The whole scene is incredible. It just, I don't want to give the SEC too much credit, but it does, it feels different when you're at a college football game day in Alabama.
It's the heart of college football.
Yeah, I don't know about Starkville, but LSU,
it's only 80 miles away.
Athens,
It's an hour away.
There are certain schools that can rival the Big Ten.
And I would even argue from the second our plane landed in Tuscaloosa, you knew you were in a football town. I didn't get that vibe at LSU. Like LSU was a campus, but I wasn't like football. You land as Roll Tide, the football helmets. It had a Masters, a Talladega, that's it. It's football. I don't know that I've been on a campus that felt that football like that.
Well, when they've won as much as they have, it's hard to.
No, but I don't even mean that.
I think that does play into it because they have won so much. The morale
but even
is
before
high.
they were winning, that's all they care about.
That's all they care about in the South in general. Normally.
And we might have seen the death of Nick Saban.
His LSU point is interesting because LSU is like a school inside a small city, whereas Tuscaloosa is just Alabama.
That's exactly my
That's
point.
all Tuscaloosa is about.
Right.
Even in May, that's all.
Right. And so if you go
Penn State's close. Penn State's like that.
Yeah, but
Happy Valley's like that.
But I didn't notice everything.
Yeah.
I'm using a NASCAR example, but something I always said when Daytona Beach, you go there and the Daytona 500, you didn't get to feel the race necessarily on Daytona Beach. It felt like beach. Del Mar with a track. You go, I'm throwing out all these analogies, but it's a surf town. Saratoga, only horse racing. There's certain places where the second you enter a city, what it's known for becomes everywhere.
It's all everyone's talking about.
And I can't think of another.
I think Happy Valley's the answer of the closest, where it's if you go to Happy Valley on a Saturday, it's every restaurant has the Penn State decal on front.
But even, and I haven't been there, I feel like if I went in the middle of summer to Alabama, it's just.
I've never been there, but I feel like Norman, Oklahoma is going to get close.
I've been to Norman, and it is. I feel like any town that's just built around the college campus is going to be that way.
Yeah, but it was great. It was a lot of fun.
What?
I'm trying to think, though. What other?
I mean, I know I'm going to be biased here, but A&M's that way because there's nothing else there.
Well, that's just a cult, though. That cult isn't really about football. It's just about cult things.
Well, but, that means they care enough, right? But I think that anytime you have, you go to Austin, you don't only think about Texas football.
Austin's a major city.
Well, correct. That's what I'm saying. Anything around a college. But Tuscaloosa also is they've just won a ton. Did you guys like Bryant-Denny? I know we had that conversation.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a great stadium, and it was very loud. And the guy who was an incredible host for us in the box, he said that day games are a little bit harder because people expect to win, but night games, they can get really loud. And it was very loud.
In a direct shot, you weren't there, it wasn't meant, but he's like, the reason Brent Walker will say it's quiet is because he probably comes from Mississippi State and we don't get up for Mississippi State.
Well, I've been there many times before, not just Mississippi State games, and I know what loud stadiums are, and they're just not that loud unless, they have Texas in there at night. And direct shots are fine.
What about Georgia? Shots. Athens.
Georgia doesn't get that loud. And
it's actually in the news right now.
Athens is an incredible city outside of Georgia.
Athens is my favorite SEC town.
Athens is Austin-like.
South Carolina player said that he's not very worried about going to Georgia.
That's not what he said, though.
What did he say?
He was asked, what are the loudest stadiums in the SEC? And he said Texas A&M and Tennessee. He just didn't mention Georgia.
Okay. So then Kirby's
mad about it, right?
Flipped it and was like, everyone's got to be loud. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you point that out, then Georgia fans get very mad.
Knoxville didn't have that vibe. It was a great environment for the game, but I didn't feel like you stepped in Knoxville and it's like you get punched in the face with football.
I've never been. South Bend?
South Bend it's a little bit of a different crowd, though, because it's a little older. But yeah, South Bend is definitely, Notre Dame does encompass all of South Bend. But Notre Dame crowds are just different in general.
Yeah, they're old.
Although night game next week, when we talk about it, South Bend, Notre Dame gets slept on because day games, a lot of like old people with their kids. Night games can get rowdy. They have a sneaky like edge at night games that you don't account for when they're playing like the 2:30 game against Navy.
You definitely need to go to South Bend. You would like it there.
I think I will.
You would like it. All right, let's talk about this Week 3 slate presented by High Noon. This fall, it's time to load up on the ice and throw out the oversized lawn games. And this is the exclusive High Noon Game Day Pack. It's back. I don't know if we have the flavors. I've got the tequila in front of me, but it's the cranberry, pear, black cherry, and grapefruit. Visit highnoonspirits.com before your next tailgate.
Pear is in my power 4.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
What's your power 4?
It's passion fruit, pineapple, pear, and watermelon.
Ooh, no peach. Peach is my number one.
Peach is my number 1 too.
But I don't want to give too much away. There may be one lurking that I've taste tested that will immediately enter the top 4.
Is it coming out soon?
A couple months, I believe.
Okay, yeah, the peach tall boys are by far my favorite. Okay, so we've talked about this Week 3 slate for a long time. On paper, it doesn't look like it's that great in comparison. We know next week is huge, but always there's weird things that happen in Week 3, and we're going to start with the Backyard Brawl, which is always a fun favorite when those two rivalries get together, even if the teams aren't good. So Pitt at West Virginia. It's been a pick'em. It's gone back and forth. Right now, when we're taping this, West Virginia is favored by 1. The total at 47.5. Dave, I'll start with you. 7:30 game. Both Pitt and West Virginia are not very good, but we know these two teams absolutely hate each other. What do you expect to see?
Well, I knew Pittsburgh would lose last week. It was my proper pick, so credit to me. I'm off to a hot start again. I'm just going to take the home team here. It'll be an exciting, good game. This is a true hatred game.
Yes.
They really do hate each other.
Last year was one of the best games.
Yep. I'm going to take West Virginia.
Dan?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to watch this game. I'm going to love this game. I do love this rivalry. I'm happy they're playing again, and I'll take the over.
Brandon?
When you talk about the great rivalries in college football, you talk about Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Those are the big 3. I think this is way up there. Pitt and West Virginia, I mean, they're saying is literally eat shit Pitt.
It's fantastic.
Very close. The only one that is an Ole Miss rivalry, Ole Miss, Mississippi State type rivalry.
Where they're not good, but they hate each other.
Correct.
Well, I mean, Mississippi State and Ole Miss were both ranked when they played last year, so we'll get to that one later. Anyway, this one, I like West Virginia a lot. Last year, I think Neil Brown, the coach of West Virginia, got very close to getting himself fired when he didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and he lost that game late in the game. They had it in control. Now I think he can take his job back if he beats them this year, and I think West Virginia is better than people think. I like West Virginia by a lot.
You know how much they hate each other? When we went to West Virginia a few years ago, I can't even remember who they were playing.
Texas.
They were playing Texas, and all they chanted was "Eat shit, Pitt" the whole time. They didn't even care that Texas was there. Pitt has a weird feeling. Did you guys see like Phil Jerkovic saying he didn't like the team or the fans were booing the team and all that?
That's a weird crowd too.
It's weird.
Pitt is the Steelers.
Is that a pro football crowd that just is looking for something to do on Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to go with West Virginia as well. And by the time this game kicks off, I don't know who's going to be favored, but I do think West Virginia wins this game. I've been low on Neil Brown, but I mean, he can definitely save his job at least for a little bit. He can toss it down the road if he beats Pitt. Okay, the big game of the week for a lot of the national networks right now, Colorado State at number 18, Colorado favorite at 23.5, the total at 60.5. Dan, do you care about Colorado State?
I do. I just saw a comment right before we started taping. I was thinking about taking Colorado State just because the letdown has to happen with Colorado. And then Jay Norvell, the head coach of Colorado State, stepped in it. So he said, talking about Deion Sanders, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and glasses off. That's what my mother taught me to do.
Yikes.
Whoops.
Yeah, you can't.
If you thought maybe you could catch Colorado sleeping after 2 big wins, you don't say that.
Crazy.
Well, and each week they've made it about the narrative. Like Shador last week was saying that Matt Rule was talking bad about Deion.
They were reaching last 2 weeks, but this one is not.
They've made the whole narrative thing, and every week it's like they're going to make it personal.
That was so stupid. So I'm taking Colorado now. I honestly was thinking that this would be the letdown spot where Colorado's going to win, but maybe not cover. But he just put it on a tee for Deion.
An idiot.
So.
Night game, too.
I kind of go the other way a little bit. I really think this is a spot where Colorado hasn't had that chance to put like 59 or 60 on the board. They haven't had that chance to really stretch out and show the offense for 4 quarters.
I'm confused.
What?
That would be a 23.5 play.
Well, yeah, I'm going the other way because you were leaning Colorado State.
Wait. Say that again. They haven't had a chance to score points yet?
They haven't had a chance to just go out there and light up the scoreboard the whole time.
They did that
Who they
against
play
TCU.
TCU?
Yeah,
What
they
was
did
it?
that
What
against
did they
TCU.
score like
They
100?
Shador had 50 or
45 points.
Yeah, 55 points.
I mean, that was
Yeah,
was a-
500 yards.
I
That
guess
was
I
a
meant
true shootout.
Yeah.
I guess I meant a
Every
blowout.
sense
I
of
guess
the
I meant a
world.
blowout.
Yeah, that's why I
They
was.
blew out Nebraska.
Fine, whatever. I like Colorado to win. I like Colorado to score 50 or
36
55
and
points. I
45.
like Colorado to beat the shit out of Colorado State, no matter what Jay Norvell said. They're just a lot.
But not because they haven't
Just
had
relax.
it. Yeah.
Sometimes we mess up.
Yeah, it's okay. You're taking Colorado. That's
I like
what matters.
Colorado. Listen, they can score, and they've done that in both games so far.
Yes.
And they're going to do it here, and Colorado State can't keep up.
I mean, Shador has solidly put himself in the Heisman race as
900
of
yards,
right now.
8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yeah, pretty good, Dave.
So people don't care about Colorado State. I mean, should be a blowout game. People obviously care about Dion. That's all the hype. So this is all about Colorado. I didn't know that quote. I thought it would be over before. I agreed with Dan. If any letdown spot, not going to happen. And listen, Colorado, as I've said from day one, unlike some people on the panel, is the real deal. And the more you see Shador Sanders play, the more you realize he's an NFL quarterback. He has what you want, and they got talent around, and they're gonna kill this team. And also, I'll say this about our guy Dion: what makes him great, and I've said I thought he had the mentality once we met him. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a great coach. He did something, and he's doing things. He's coaching very differently from Jackson State. He's being more aggressive. Like, he was conservative. Remember, we get on him. He's not doing that anymore. He's an amoeba. He's coaching to the situation, and they are so well coached. You see them on the field; they're not making mistakes. So this I expect them to win big here. I like the over. And I was just going to do the over, but I am going to take Colorado.
Quote, yeah.
I'll take Colorado.
That's I'm scoring a touchdown late in the fourth quarter in a blowout quote.
Yep.
Did you see the more that he talked to? Like, Jay Norvell also said that he thought his players all week hated doing the interviews. He was like, "We're sick of doing interviews all week. Like, we don't want to talk about this anymore." Like, that alone is just like, so you just hate the hype around.
Well,
this game.
I could see where the opponent would just hate having to talk about Dion in Colorado the whole week. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, but
I can't see
who's
going
giving
out.
attention to Colorado State ever. Like, you just
Well, no,
take the
but if you're
attention.
Colorado State, the only reason you're asking me questions is so I can talk about Dion and talk about Colorado. I can see where they would get sick of that. But Jay Norvell saying I have manners and Dion doesn't is crazy.
Right, just saying anything about Colorado and Dion right now, just they're going to make
they're
it.
playing them, though. You gotta
No, I'm
say
saying
something.
they're going to give him bulletin board material because if Colorado's looking for it, then they're going to find
I
it.
mean, they got mad at Matt Rule for standing on the logo before
Oh, he
the
should
game.
have done that.
Which is where every coach stands
No, he
before the
should have
game.
done that.
Every coach stands there before the game.
Listen, this is what the great ones do. I mean, you find your reason, whatever it may be, each week, and you motivate your team. And I mean, Dion's not the first. I mean, Kirby saying
But
no
also,
one picked us.
Kirby's full of
Matt Rule, win a game once, okay? Nebraska's a joke. Will Compton's a joke. He was here earlier. I think he's gone. They're a joke.
I love.
Oh shit, he's right there. My bad.
Fuck, Will
Whoops.
Compton. Hey, Will.
I loved what Colorado showed last week because, again, even though Walker said they haven't had a shootout yet, week one was a shootout, contrary to popular belief, up and down the field. And then the first half, Nebraska, low scoring. The defense turns around. That is a team. He has a team there. They're very good.
And then next week you have Oregon and then USC. So about to get into some really good Pac-12.
water.
Yeah, some Pac-12 matchups. So I'm going to take Colorado as well. I've been high on them since the offseason, and I think they're going to kick the shit out of Colorado State. Brandon, let's go to your game this
Right,
week.
let's
Number
talk about some real
14,
teams.
LSU at Mississippi State. LSU favored by 10, the total at 54.5 right now. How are you feeling about this one, Brandon?
I feel really good.
Okay.
10 points is a crazy number. LSU has only beat us by more than 10 like 3 out of the last 4 times. So they rarely do it. I love Mississippi State. I love being at home. I love Will Rogers. LSU, I've said this from the beginning, I don't think they're all that good. I think they were overrated to start the year. I think they're overrated now. We keep it within the number and have a moral victory on Saturday that makes me cry.
It's going to make you cry.
Probably.
Okay. Dan?
I like Mississippi State in this game. I like it because it's a sleepy game. I think it's, a game that is kind of off the radar. I think Mississippi State will keep this close. I'm with you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Dave?
Before the show started, I put a quick 25 grand on LSU.
Why?
I think they're going to kill you.
But they rarely kill us. It's a close series.
3 out of 4 times they haven't killed you. No,
Correct.
1
One
out of 4 times
they haven't killed us.
you.
And the SEC West is so weird because we know Alabama lost to a very, very good Texas team, but we still don't necessarily know exactly who the best team in the SEC West is.
Yeah.
Listen, I think Florida.
No. Fuck, it is not Ole Miss. They played a Tulane team that had their backup quarterback and they barely beat them.
It's Ole Miss.
I think Florida State is very good.
Very good.
So, what are we judging LSU? That's a legit loss. I think they will use that and come back and just pummel Mississippi State.
Well, we're not really a pummelable team. We went 9-4 last year, had 21 super seniors back.
Oh.
We're a very good team.
Brandon, do you like what Zach Arnett has done in this offense?
Love Zach Arnett.
You have to barely get by Arizona.
In overtime.
Oh, Arizona's a good team.
Oh, okay.
Arizona's going to win 8 games this year.
Okay.
They're good. They're very good.
Okay.
Yeah, not to
I
count-
like my
but-
Mississippi State bet even more.
But you do like
No,
what
the
you
offense
said.
has been garbage so far. Will
Yeah.
Rogers has 48 pass attempts on the year. He had
Yes.
11 games where he had more than that under Mike Leach, who is now dead, RIP.
RIP, yeah.
But I don't really like the offense so far, but I think we've been saving it for LSU.
Okay.
We got something for that ass.
I'm going to take LSU as well. Not to just go against you, but I just do think LSU is better.
And I don't want to get dark, but he is a coach that you lose that I don't think it's easy to
You know,
recover.
that's fine. Can I talk to Casey for a second? Why would you pick LSU?
Because I think that they're going to win, and
Why not just one
Just
time?
worry.
be able to
I
take it?
got
Why-
you.
Why not?
I got
I know
you.
you got me.
I
Why
got
why
you.
can't she have me?
because my picks don't go against just like our friendship.
I got you.
You understand.
I got you.
I think if Zach Arnett can let Will Rogers throw the ball more.
Zach Arnett's a defensive coordinator.
No, if the team can let Will Rogers throw the ball more, then
We'll see.
you'll
got
see.
you.
Big F, who you like in that game?
I do like Mississippi State with the points.
There you go.
I knew
There
that.
you go.
That's why
It's
I-
tough.
There you go.
I think I kind of agree with Dan's logic. It's tough to get up to go to Starkville.
11 a.m. kickoff is a tough one.
Brent, you know that's true.
That's a tough one.
You
That's a
don't get it.
home
Cowbells.
field
You're
advantage.
not like, we're going to
First
Starkville.
play.
LSU needs to get right.
You've never been to Starkville.
Yeah,
Beautiful. It's
exactly.
a lovely place.
I do like Starkville. I think people downplay it a little bit.
They
Does
do.
that help?
It's one
Does
of
that
the
help
best
you at all?
places, so.
Yeah, it's a
Does that
tough-
help you? I do like going there.
You literally like every campus.
Well, because every single campus you go to, they show you a good time.
Okay, so on a scale of liking, you like them the least.
No,
Because they're the worst campus in the SEC.
they're not. You've never been there, and you can't say it.
I know
Yeah.
my
I've been
friend
begging
Caleb
you to
went
go
there
there.
and he got pink eye.
I know.
He only went to Hardee's and Taco
He went
Bell.
and got pink eye.
I've heard enough. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. From what I've heard, it's clearly the worst.
We have 2 good pizza places. 2.
On a sliding scale, it's probably at the bottom. No offense, but I mean,
You just don't stay on Team Walker at all, do you? You
Well,
just jump right
you want me
off
to
the
say it's
ship.
better than
As
Athens?
soon as a faster
No.
boat comes along, you just
No.
jump right on that boat.
no. I like Starkville, but in relatives,
It's
You
okay
also-
to just say
you
it
also
stinks.
were like, I love Lubbock, so.
Lubbock is
Starkville stinks.
Starkville
It's okay
doesn't
to
stink. You've
just
never been
say
there.
it.
If you
It's
go
okay.
to-
I
if you
know.
go for football.
Relative. It's better than being in like Welsh, West Virginia, probably, but
I don't know. Welch
maybe
is
not.
kinda cool.
and also if you go to Lubbock for a Texas Tech football game, you're going to have a good time. I feel like if you're going to
Right, so
whatever.
I'm saying it's a sliding scale.
Yes.
What's the next game?
Okay, the next game. We're going to talk about number 8, Washington at Michigan State. Washington right now favored by 15.5, the total at 55.5. And of course, the big news this week, Michigan State is all over everything. No Mel Tucker. Harlan Bennett is their interim coach.
But Mark D'Antonio is going to be
Yes,
having a headset. That's the important piece.
That's great.
that is the important piece. Dave,
They hated him 2 years ago.
Now they like him again.
I know.
well, they have to like him again. They don't have an
That's a
option.
big part. He's a
Don't know
tough
what you got
guy.
till it's gone.
Once Dan told me that, I flipped to Michigan State. I'll say this as a Michigan guy and what is going on there. You hate to see it, obviously. I think you got to hold back judgment till more facts and everything comes out. I will say, Mel Tucker, moron, just to get yourself in this situation. The headlines are just, it's like you're reading an Onion article, like Michigan State head coach accused of sexually harassing the woman he hired to teach anti-sexual harassment. It's like, what a headline. It's a he said, she said, so I'm not going to weigh in on that, but obviously they got issues going on there big time in Lansing. But D'Antonio's wearing the headset, so I'll take the points.
And she is like the advocate for it. So it's a messy thing, but Dan, do you think that this could potentially be like, we don't know how the players feel about this. They're obviously not speaking about it. Could it be like a play for Mel Tucker type of situation?
I don't think so. I think Washington's really good. So I'm staying away from the spread. I'm taking the over. Washington's offense is electric. I watched them play against Boise, and Boise actually moved the ball pretty well. So I don't think their defense still has some question marks, but Michael Penix has been playing lights out football.
Penix.
I like to say Penix. Over 55.5 is my play.
Brandon, you love Michael Penix Jr.
I love Washington. They're my pick to win the Pac-12. I got them as a sneaky playoff team. I think they're going to be top 10 all year, and I think they're going to beat the hell out of Michigan State because even before Mel Tucker was gone, this team's it's not good.
They are 2-0.
2-0, fine, against what?
I understand.
Yeah,
but they're not. Yeah, no.
I don't think they're a good team at all. I think Washington is a very good team, one of the best teams in the country, and I think they go in there with that offense. They score their 49, their 50, and they get out of there.
I'd take that 50.
You're going to get it.
I would like
Unbelievable
that 50.
fall from grace from
2 years.
East
2
Lansing.
years, $95 million.
Crazy.
And the just
and you
all
don't
the
know
hype.
how that factors into
$70
what's
million
going on.
buyout. Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
bad situation.
I'm going to take Washington as well. I like that offense. And I mean, Michigan State, if they were any good before, I feel like it's just going to be demoralizing there. It's a 5 o'clock game, too. It's just weird. Let's go to the SEC, number 11, Tennessee at Florida in the Swamp at 7 o'clock. Tennessee right now favored by 6.5, the total at 58.5. Brandon, you and I have talked about this week. This is one of those old school rivalries when you look at the SEC and you look at what two teams hate each other. We saw what Florida did in week 1 against Utah and their backups with Graham Mertz. We also know that Tennessee and Joe Milton have all the hype. We'll see what he looks like. What are you expecting this weekend?
Growing up, this was the biggest game in the SEC for about 10 years. Like from 95 to 05, this was the game in the SEC, and it was appointment television, and I loved it. So I'll always think about that. I think Florida wins this game. I think Florida beats Tennessee. Florida struggled in front of a national audience. They did. They struggled against Utah. They came back and they got right last week, and I think they're kind of embarrassed, and Billy Napier has to start building at Florida. But Tennessee struggled away from the spotlight last week. They were not good against Austin Peay. Joe Milton couldn't complete a pass against Austin Peay. He couldn't do anything. It was 6-0 right before the half. I think Florida wins the game.
Dan?
Isn't it funny? The big bad SEC has a big time matchup on Saturday night with a couple Big Ten castoffs. That's who your quarterbacks are.
And let me tell you, Joe Milton stinks.
Graham Mertz, I still believe.
Joe Milton stinks.
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over, and I'll take Florida because Brandon swayed me.
I don't know why everybody assumed Joe Milton was going to be good because he can throw at 80 yards. He's been in college 5 years. He's had multiple opportunities. He's never kept a job.
It was the Clemson game. It was a Citrus Bowl.
They scored 30 points.
I know.
It's not like they scored 50.
Joe Milton can throw at 80 yards, and he throws every pass as though he's throwing at 80 yards.
Dan, didn't you have a tweet that was like, if you ask him to throw 40 yards, he'll throw 40 yards.
Yeah.
If you ask him to throw it 10 yards, he'll throw it 40 yards.
Throw 40 yards, yeah.
I'm on Florida in this. Tennessee may be all around, but I listen, we sold Milton Tough t-shirts at one point, but I've seen enough of Joe Milton to know Joe Milton is horrible. He threw past the spider in the office.
Almost killed him.
80 yards.
Yeah, 80 yards.
5 feet away.
Yeah.
80 miles an hour. Ev, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think just the line, you got to take Florida. I mean, it just stinks. Florida, and also as Brandon kind of touched on it, people always overreact to the standalone games, primetime games like that. Florida, I don't think it's great, but it's tough to go in the Swamp and win. I'll take 6.5 points.
I'm going to take Tennessee. I think that just one touchdown, I think they can do it. I think Joe Milton is a better quarterback than Graham Mertz. I don't know about how much, but I don't like what we're seeing from Graham Mertz, and I like Josh Heupel. Billy Napier, to me, I could be proven wrong, but so far he does not look like the guy that's going to turn Florida around. They shouldn't have gotten rid of Dan Mullen. Brandon.
Yes.
The Roback throwback of the week.
All right.
Throwback trivia.
We are all up here wearing our Roback today. Grab your gear for football season. Go to Roback. That's RHOBACK.com. Use code FOOTBALL for 20% off your first purchase. They have the best polos. They have the best hoodies.
Shout out to this polo.
I want that.
First
Yeah,
time
that's
it's
great.
just totals and over
want
under
it so
67 plus 13.5 minus 105. It's like a Vegas board. It's awesome.
It's a nice
They've been
color.
really stepping up their polos.
Yeah, they have. Use code FOOTBALL for 20% off your first purchase. That's 20% off all polos, shorts, hoodies, and more with code FOOTBALL at Roback.com. Your Roback trivia, grab your whiteboards. In 1998, what? Why did you roll your eyes at 1998? In 1998, the Tennessee Volunteers beat number 2 Florida on their way to winning a national championship. Who was Florida's quarterback in the 1998 Tennessee-Florida game?
Danny Werfel.
Oh, I got 2, but I
you
don't
have
know
a
which
board.
one it is.
I'm always
Do
wrong.
not write Danny Werfel down.
I got 2, but I don't know
my-
which one it is.
Well, you can write them both down.
Okay.
Because I don't think Casey's going to write anything down.
Because
I
they
was
went
9
back
years old.
and
Yeah, I can't
forth.
remember. Let's see.
I'll write what I'm using as my answer as the first one, and then
That's correct.
yeah. So I was wrong. I said Doug Johnson or Jesse Palmer.
It's
Jesse
Jesse Palmer.
Palmer,
That's why I
Bachelor
thought you guys might. Jesse, did you have it?
Doug Johnson was also the starter in that stretch, though, right?
Doug Johnson, I believe, was the next year.
No, I think
thought
they
he gave way. It was Doug Johnson, Jesse Palmer, and they gave way to Rex Grossman a couple years later.
But I'm pretty sure they went back and
They might
forth.
have.
It's
Jesse
crazy to
Palmer
think
started this game.
That Jesse Palmer was playing in 1998.
1998, and he
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that old.
Good job, Dave.
Thank you. That's the first one I've
Nailed
ever
it.
done right. Couldn't remember his name.
That counts.
Yeah,
I'll
Bachelor
give you
guy.
that one.
He is the Bachelor guy.
That's Roback throwback trivia.
Yeah, we love Roback. They are just so comfortable. They're so comfortable. All right, Pizza Hut take of the week. Pizza Hut may not have invented pizza, but they sure made it famous, whether it's a time celebration or just a casual get-together. No one out-pizzas the Hut. All right, Dave, we'll start with you. What is your Hut take of the week?
If you've been following me on social, you'll know what this one is, because I have talked about it, and I finally put my money where my mouth was. I have Sam Hartman to win the Heisman. I took him for 10 grand at 20-1. I think Notre Dame's going to beat Ohio State next week, and he will be. I know, I'm serious. That wasn't just a shot at Ev. I know but I truly believe it. I want to bet it, and I think once that happens, he's going to go under 10-1, because people want people. Notre Dame's Notre Dame, right? So if their quarterback and they're winning, he's always going to have that advantage. They have USC at home. I think they can win that. So I think it's a great bet.
Dan?
Yeah,
I
like
also
it.
think that's a great
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're looking at like what Caleb Williams, Shadur Sanders, Jordan
If
Travis,
Notre Dame,
When yours.
Quinn Ewers.
Notre Dame wins those two games, he wins the Heisman.
Yeah. All right, my hot take. This feels like I'm just doing this on every show because maybe I got a little too excited about the football season, both pro and college. But Wisconsin obviously lost to Washington State. Got a little screwed by the refs. I'm not going to complain about that. They did fight their asses off, and afterwards, Luke Fickell basically was like, "Look, this is a process. I myself got a little too ahead of myself. Like, oh, all these transfers, it will be instant success." I think Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers will be in the college playoff within the next 3 years. I am adjusting my brain.
I'm kind of looking at you, and you're just morphing into Will Compton.
I know. But I'm right.
We're
But
gonna
I'm
build
right.
this program.
I'm right.
We're
He's
gonna
right.
build this
No, what
program.
my real take is that with the transfer portal, with NIL, there's a feeling that you can just kind of snap your finger and be like
Deion.
incredible. Yeah, Deion is the one outlier, and he also has to win some Pac-10 games, Pac-12 games. Like he's 2-0 right now. He's got to win some Pac-12 games.
TCU.
TCU's not very good.
He's got to win some Pac-12 games. Yeah, he's got a tough schedule coming up. I believe in Deion, but I'm saying I trust the process and kind of readjusting where my head is at. I still think Wisconsin's going to be a good team this year. Maybe 8 wins, 9 wins, not 10 wins, 11 wins.
Any concern that you're losing the biggest advantage you have, which is being in the West, and you're going to be in a much tougher
No,
Big
because
Ten?
I think Luke Fickell is going to elevate the program to that level.
All right.
Matt
Yeah.
Rule.
Also, the playoff is going to be 12 teams.
That is true.
So that helps.
That helps a lot.
Brandon?
How many times would you guys have been in a 12-team
A lot.
playoff over the last 15
A lot.
years?
Yeah,
Someone
probably
did
a
the
lot.
thing, and it was like in like the last, it was like 15 or 20 years, Wisconsin would have been in like six.
You guys are always finishing like 9th.
Yeah.
Mine is, I actually had this take before. I should have said it, but now it looks like I'm Johnny-come-lately because I guess I don't understand what a hot take is. A team not named LSU or Alabama for the first time since 2017 will win the SEC West.
Ole Miss.
It's not Ole Miss. I think it could be Ole Miss. It could be Arkansas. It could be Mississippi State. I think it could be A&M.
No, okay.
I think they're going to win 9 or 10 games. I think that's a little bit of hot take buried in it.
I
People
think
are burying them
Miami's
after they
very
lost to
good.
Miami. I think they're really good. And
Miami's very good, but that defense.
no, I
not
think
good,
Texas
but-
A&M is really good and is going to make a run from here on out. I think Alabama, LSU will both lose 2 or 3 times. And they haven't lost an SEC game yet, but I think they will.
Yeah, it
Say
goes.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is definitely dangerous on those schedules. But they did barely beat a backup quarterback in
They won
Tulane
by
last year.
17.
Well, they
won by
they had a
17.
fumble return at the
Yeah,
end. You know that.
but if you look at the box score, 17.
It does go back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, the SEC West. You don't know the best or the worst, but you think Auburn is by far the
I think
worst,
Auburn's the worst. I think Auburn's the worst. Then there's 4 teams right behind Alabama and LSU, and I think Alabama and LSU has come back to those 4 teams.
Okay. Ev, what is your hot take?
Well, I guess it feels a little less hot because Brandon Cow already said it. I think Florida wins in the swamp. I'll add a little caveat. They win by a touchdown. They reverse cover. Florida wins outright by 7 or more.
Okay, and mine is also about the SEC. I guess it's a bigger picture because we don't know who is in the SEC West, who the best team is. Again, if you assume Alabama, even though Texas beat them by 10, I think the SEC is not a top 3 conference this year. And I know SEC fans hate to hear that.
No.
They're not. Outside of Georgia.
Time.
Who's the second best team in the SEC?
Georgia, LSU, and Bama. Georgia,
You just said LSU
LSU
and
and
Bama
Bama
aren't going to
State.
win.
But we haven't seen a full season where the Pac-12 or the ACC proves they're better than LSU
okay,
or Alabama
but-
yet.
Oh, so Big Ten is better.
I think Big Ten and Pac-12 are the 2
Okay,
conferences
all right.
in the mix. The ACC has Florida
Wait, what
State.
about the Big 12?
The ACC has Florida State. The Big 12 was garbage last year, and it's
Texas
garbage
is
this
winning
year.
to Tuscaloosa.
Texas is Texas. They're not the Big 12.
So when we're
Yes,
taking.
they are.
Texas is a Big 12 team, but the rest of the conference is bad.
Okay,
That's
So
why
then
TCU
Georgia doesn't count for the SEC.
No. I'm
under
saying
that
so Georgia aside, we don't know. So
Y'all
you
are
look
telling me-
you look at hold on. You look at the Big Ten. You've got Ohio State. You've got Michigan. You've got Penn State.
I'm fine with the Big Ten.
You've got the Pac-12. You've got Washington, Oregon, Colorado, USC, Utah. You look at the ACC right now.
I'm not ready to say Colorado is better than LSU or Alabama.
Well, you had
That's
losing
crazy.
by 40 2
Okay.
weeks
That's
ago.
crazy, though.
I'm just saying that multiple teams. Okay, so now you look at the ACC.
I don't-
You've got Florida State. You have Miami, North Carolina.
Okay, buddy.
You
It's
cannot
okay.
say
The
Miami is
SEC
better than-
not good
than-
this year. It's okay,
Why not?
A&M,
buddy.
Miami just beat A&M.
Pat you on the head.
No.
It's okay, pal.
They beat them at home. They beat them at home.
But they beat them like a drum.
If they beat them, that's fine.
Like a drum.
You want to drop SEC from 1 to 2 behind the Big Ten? Okay.
By the way, I'm a Big Ten guy, but I don't know. I'm not the Big Ten. The way I see it,
There's
is
3 good
one.
teams.
Who's the third?
there's
Penn
Penn
State.
State, there's Michigan, there's Ohio State.
Oh, I don't think Ohio State's good.
Oh, well, okay.
To drop them below 3 is crazy. The
drop
fourth
them-
best, to drop them below 3?
Right now, I don't know. You have Georgia. Who is the second best
I think
team in
they're
the
the
SEC?
third best.
Out of who'd you drop out of that?
No, it's Pac-12 and Big Ten.
I'm projecting out.
The ACC does not get credit for having like 1 or 2 good teams.
Oh, I think the ACC has 2 pretty good teams.
Who's the
Yeah,
second?
but the rest
Miami.
of them stink.
And
We'll see on Miami. We're
and I mean,
projecting
Cle-
a lot
and
there.
Clemson
Well, what do you
lost
want
to
them to do?
Duke,
They
but like
just-
Duke looks pretty good too. I don't think Clemson is horrible.
I just do have to say something. You just said we got to wait on Miami, but 5 seconds ago you were saying Texas A&M could win the West and they're pretty good, and Miami
That's-
just beat the brakes off of them.
That was a different point. That was a
But
different
no,
take.
no.
Well,
it's a different
kinda
segment,
goes the
Dave.
same.
It's a different.
Got
It's
it,
a different
got it.
segment, but
Can't
it.
connect
You
those
can't roll the
things.
segments
But
over.
it does add into it. Now that could change in the next couple weeks.
To
But
drop
right
SEC
now,
from 1, I get it. To drop them to 4?
right now,
Hurts you, but it's okay.
hurts.
No, that's
I'll get you a binky.
That's
Because-
crazy, and you know that's
You get
crazy.
a
That's
little-
crazy. That's wild.
Well, no.
Pacifier.
It's a hot take.
it's a hot take, but it's also. I mean, you can just look at the way the schedules have laid out, and it's true right now. It's just true.
Well,
Now, it could
I'm
be- that
curious
could
to
change.
see what we get out of Georgia. Who knows? We'll see. But I mean,
I have
people
Georgia
just
winning the national title, but-
assumed that they're going to be Georgia again, and no one gives any credit to Stetson Bennett, that they can win and you can just put a robot back there. I'm not convinced that Stetson Bennett wasn't pretty fucking good and just didn't get the credit he deserved. He was 100 years old playing college, but people are just assuming plug and play.
Well, they
We'll
think
see.
Carson Beck is a better
They
quarterback,
also
like
changed
athletically.
offensive coordinators, too. So they had Stetson Bennett and his offensive coordinator. That guy's gone. Now they got Mike Bobo in there, and he's not as good as
But their schedule is also, I mean,
Easy.
it's pretty easy in comparison. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm not taking away anything from Georgia,
Just
but
to drop them to number 4 is wild.
you still haven't answered who the second best team in the SEC is,
It's Alabama or LSU. I
But
know
you just
that
said they're
I
not gonna
believe
win the
Alabama's
West.
going to go 9-3 or 10-2.
and not win the West.
I'm projecting good teams in the West. I think Texas A&M or Arkansas or Mississippi State or Ole Miss can jump up and be with one of these teams. But I'm certainly not saying Alabama's going 6-6 or LSU's going to be bad.
Well, no, but my argument that the ACC is better right now, and you have
There's
A&M
no way,
potentially
though,
winning
the
the West.
ACC is better top to bottom.
It's that Miami beat A&M.
You don't think the ACC, though, top to bottom,
No.
is better than the
They got-
others?
No,
got
no, no.
Virginia.
I'm
They got
talking
Virginia
about
Tech.
I'm talking about the top of the conference right
But
now.
you said the conference.
I said the top of the conference.
You
I think
said
it's
the conference.
okay. I said isn't a top 3 conference
Right.
from top to bottom this year
Right.
because of the top.
Which is what-
top to bottom, no
Okay.
chance. The
We have
ACC,
one, we
no
have
chance.
one team right now in the SEC.
That's why it's Pac-12 and Big Ten, I think.
Alabama is still very good. They lost to Texas.
You're acting like I'm saying for the rest of the year. First of all, this is a hot take, but I think there are more teams right now in the national title run in the ACC right now than there are in the SEC.
Well, that's wrong.
You just said you don't think Alabama or LSU is going to win the West. Who in the West is going to be there?
What you just said was, I don't think right now SEC team, LSU and Alabama are still in the national title race. They are.
So you think
So is Ole Miss.
So is Ole Miss. hate
you
that.
said they're not going to win the West,
Well,
but they're in the
could
race.
argue that's top to bottom. That's not what that means. But if you're just saying,
Like the top teams.
right, so top to bottom, though, would be, that's not
That's including the
bottom.
Okay, that's not what.
Hence the bottom.
The teams that I mentioned are the top teams.
I think
that they are top heavy.
I think Florida State and Miami are better than any 2 title contenders from the SEC right now. SEC has Georgia, and I think those 2 are better. How can you not say that?
That's why I
Certainly think Florida State is.
Well,
Miami, we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we still don't know
Miami
exactly-
beat the shit out of A&M, and Florida State beat the shit out of.
Florida State's great.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
So that's
top
my
to bottom.
point. That's my point is that there are more top-heavy teams in those three conferences right now than the SEC. That's why I dropped it to 4.
Well, you got to just to do 2 though. You got to say the top 2 because the AFC goes, the ACC goes off a cliff after the top 2.
Okay.
Big time.
Let's go to the proper picks. Proper number 12 Irish whiskey, rich and smooth. Proper number 12 Irish whiskey. For every bottle sold, a donation is made to support our brave first responders. Order your bottle of proper number 12 Irish whiskey from Drizly today. Dan, pour the roar.
We got the new Irish apple, proper 12 Irish apple, delicious. I'll take a shot. Goes down smooth. Irish apple, proper 12 Irish whiskey. My pick is going to be Washington, Michigan State over 55.5. I love that pick.
You love that pick. So the standings, by the way, right now is Dave is the only one that hasn't lost, and Brandon and I have not gotten one right.
We barely gotten started.
I know. It's just.
I don't even know why we have a
Well,
scoreboard.
no, you actually haven't gotten started.
I don't even know why we have a scoreboard yet.
You haven't won. You have not gotten started.
Yeah, we are not on the scoreboard. So
I should have won.
that was unfair. You had the right pick.
won.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn was in a dogfight. They didn't cover by half a point, but you actually were correct on that game. So
I was.
Dave, what's your proper pick this week?
I'm very good at this. I am going to take UNLV +4 at home against Vanderbilt. This is a serious pick. I'm a serious guy.
I like that.
Brandon, what's your pick?
Stunned him with that pick.
No, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
What were you were like looking up?
No, I was
trying to,
thinking about it
look
because
at
I
the
hadn't even
numbers?
studied that. I hadn't even looked at that game, but I liked it. Okay. At home, dog. I think they're going to win the game. Missouri +4.5 against Kansas State.
Ooh, you know why that's a good pick?
Why?
That's Rico Bosco's lock of the week.
Is it Missouri or Kansas State?
Kansas State.
Yes.
It's a winner. Put him on the board.
Put him on the board. Brandon has won a game.
So I chose Missouri to be a surprise team in the SEC this year. I think they're better than they've showed, and I don't think Kansas State's nearly as good as they were last year. Missouri wins the game at home, but +4.5 is the pick.
Yeah, Bosco hasn't won a mortal locks, so he's just like, who have I won mortal locks with before?
Correct.
Kansas
Do you
State.
guys at this point just like whatever he picks, you just pick the opposite?
Dave's doing that this week.
Yeah,
Really?
Off to a really bad start this year.
Yeah,
right?
well,
He's been bad for quite a bit now.
yeah.
Okay.
He said that he might be 70 burger this year
He's on his
because
pace.
his units are bad too. The units are what's bad.
Okay, Ev, what's your proper pick?
I'm on Fresno State -3 at Arizona State. They look good this year. I love what they're doing with the quarterback, the UCF transfer, Mikey Keene. They already went to Purdue, beat them. I think Arizona State is bad. I think they go into Arizona State late on them, Fresno State.
I like that pick too, Ev.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to take Arkansas -8 against BYU. Last year, I think it was like 52-35. I like KJ Jefferson. I think that Keaton Slovis, I feel like he's just been in about 10 different colleges, been in the league forever. They kind of mirror each other. They both need their offensive lines to step up, but I like Arkansas on the points there. All right, it is time for Viva La Hooters. So as we've been mentioning, we are doing a contest this season. We've got 2 top 10s, our usual top 10, which we'll get to in a minute, plus something for college football fans out there. So every Saturday, fans are encouraged to go to Hooters, take a picture of your wings, your Hooters girls, the beer, whatever, tag Barstool CFB, including your school's Viceroy account and hashtag Viva La Hooters. And every time a fan tweets, you get a point. If your school is on the leaderboard at the end of the season, 2 fans will be going to the national championship.
Great prize.
It is hotel, travel, and 2 tickets. So
Where's the national title game this year?
We figured this
Houston,
out.
right?
Houston?
Yeah,
Houston?
It is Houston.
Still a great prize.
Houston.
prize.
Yes, it is a great prize. Well, yeah, especially if
Would have
your
been
team's gonna
better
be there.
if it was in a better city for a title game. They love Houston.
Yeah.
Everything's in Houston all the time. And it is my least favorite big city.
What's wrong with Houston?
It's too spread out.
It's way too
It's-
spread out.
and it's
just service roads.
Like
over and over.
I'd rather go, if we're going to Texas, give me San Antonio. That river walk, everything's close.
You never
Granted,
have
they
to
don't
get
have
into-
football.
yeah.
But it's you like to be able to get everywhere on foot. Houston's just so spread out.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Smells
So,
great,
and it's
these
also
wings.
just. All right, Ev, what do you got for Hooters this week?
Yeah, shout out Hooters, great wings. We're going to be tasting different flavors each week. This week's flavor, a little mouthful. It look and sounds delicious. 100 naked wings, 3 Mile Island. Download the Hooters app and enter coupon code Barstool23 for $5 off your first order of 15 or more. Valid at participating locations only, so check with your local Hooters. It's Barstool23, $5 off your first order, $15 or more.
And support Hooters. Remember, here's Dave Portnoy trivia. The first advertiser we ever had in the newspaper, Hooters. Been with us
Day
now
one.
2 decades.
Day one.
For 20 years, yeah, and they're on the road with us. And we did what was the top 10 last week? Most prestigious programs, and the new board in the back, and the Hooters girls, fantastic. So this week, obviously, we're going to unveil our new communal top 10, which is Texas, Florida State, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, Colorado, USC, and Oregon.
So, did you put Texas number 1?
Mm-hmm.
I did as well.
I put them number 2. I thought about putting them number 1, but okay, that's admirable.
If you can only judge them, what we're seeing, right?
They have the best win in college
That's
football.
what we now have enough of a sample size that I'm just going straight. I threw out preseason rankings, so I have Georgia 9 and Michigan 10.
I hesitate to wade into this conversation. Do y'all really think Colorado's the 8th best team in the country?
I had Colorado 6. They have 2 great wins.
I got them at 4.
Nebraska's not a great win, and you know Nebraska's not.
And then Will Compton said that Nebraska was back, so I'm counting that as a good win.
Nebraska's not a good win at all.
No, that's a good win. That's a really good win, Will.
I don't like guys who consistently move the goalpost.
I'm not moving the goalposts.
Well,
What I'm
you
saying
are.
is, do you really think they're the 8th best team?
Well,
in the country?
again, what did I say though? Before I said I'm basing on resume. Who has 2 better wins than Colorado right now?
Dan, week 1, this is a quote. TCU is loaded.
Not what I said.
We listened to it.
Said they were loaded last year. That's
No,
what I
you,
said.
no,
Everybody
you didn't.
knows that.
No, you said they
Anyway.
were loaded. Get that clip. He said they're loaded, and Colorado had no chance. Then Colorado beats them, and TCU stinks. That's what I call.
Yeah, but that's not the question I'm
moving
asking
the
right now.
goalpost.
That's not what I'm asking right now.
Dan's right. Who has better win?
Give me the 2.
I personally don't rank them based on who has the best win.
But I threw out
I
preseason.
do.
We're now week 3, right? Throw out the preseason rankings. I'm not doing like, this team was supposed to be 1, so they're still 1. I ranked it on best wins so far. Texas has the best win. Florida State has the second best win. Notre Dame going to NC State was impressive.
Well, then you gotta have.
So we got
Miami.
Georgia, right? You got
Texas A&M stinks. Oregon going down to Texas Tech. Utah winning. Utah's been pretty impressive. The fact that they went on the road to beat Baylor, they beat Florida. Colorado number 6. They have 2 great wins.
I mean, it's early to do it. I'm doing it. But yeah, Colorado clearly deserves to be on that list. They could beat the 85 Bears right now, and you'd be like, well, they're
That was my question. So what is it going to take for you to put them on that list?
If they go 1-1 against USC and Oregon, I think it's time to have a real conversation about Colorado.
So if they beat Oregon next week,
If they go 1-1,
how brave of you.
if they go,
if they beat
USC.
I said if they go 1-1 against USC and Oregon,
If Colorado wins the
if you want to be a top 10
Pac-12,
team, that's being a top 10 team.
Brandon will have a conversation.
No.
If they win the Pac-12.
No. If y'all want to call them a top 10 team, that's what a top 10 team would do. They would at least split that.
Okay, here's my question then. So let's hypothetically say they are going to split it. They're going to lose to USC, but the week between Oregon and USC, will you have them in your top 10?
Depends. Do they beat Oregon?
That's what. Yeah.
No, you said split.
No, I said they beat Oregon. We don't know what they're going to
They
do.
beat
with
Oregon.
USC.
I don't see how. I could see them being in the top 10 then, but I would kind of probably
No,
wait till
you
after.
control the top 10.
I would kind of wait till after.
So you would wait.
That's crazy.
So if they're 4-0 after beating Oregon,
Well, it's
you
actually
wouldn't have them be
it's
top
actually
10.
it's actually a road win too. So yeah, I probably would.
Where do you have Oregon right now?
Number 10. So yeah, if they beat Oregon, I think then I would have.
Yes.
What do you hate about Deion?
I don't
so
hate
much?
anything about Deion, but
Do you wish he
you
took off
really
his
think
hat
they're
and
the-
glasses when he
He
talks
hates
to
that he's
people?
wrong.
Yeah, he
knows
you're
it.
wrong.
Do y'all really think?
No, because Brandon is
I'm asking
kind
a
of
question.
Brandon spends
You
all
painted
summer
yourself,
reading
right.
his books,
and his take
yeah.
was Colorado
Do y'all
stinks.
Stinks,
really
right.
think they're the 8th best team in the country?
Right
Nobody
now,
really thinks that.
Again,
But-
right now I'm going off of best wins. I'm going off resume. I'm not doing preseason rankings anymore.
But you're basing your best wins on preseason rankings.
no,
don't you think? Yes,
TCU. No,
was-
they beat 2.
Let me-
They went on the road and beat a
Where-
Power
where-
5 team.
Where is Colorado, Oregon being played?
Oregon.
Oregon.
And then USC is at Colorado.
Because I think he can win those games. I do. And if Colorado, Oregon was at Colorado, I would say, Colorado is definitely winning that game.
I mean, if he beats both of them, they're a national title contender. There's no question about it anymore. There's no question.
Very big of you.
Right. Well, I mean, that's just. But until that happens, I don't.
You are moving the.
I think they're going 0-2 in that.
Of course, he moved the goalposts. He said they were going to get crushed by.
You can be wrong about a game every now and then.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Adjust.
You didn't give them any credit.
I did give them credit.
No, you didn't. You just said TCU stinks.
And then you said Nebraska stinks, which Will has told us many times.
by the way,
They're one
Nebraska
play away.
does stink.
Nebraska,
No, they just don't fumble.
Nebraska does stink. But I keep hearing, and granted we're biased because we hear Will's spin zones, but they weren't losing by 30 points. They were losing field goal under. They got their doors blown off.
Well, and also, I mean, TCU reloaded after last year, but we talked about Colorado's offense being so good, and in the immediate spin zone was TCU's defense was bad.
Yeah. TCU's defense is bad.
But Colorado's offense is also good.
If you turn off
TCU's
turnovers,
defense is bad.
Nebraska's one of the best teams in the country.
Why don't they turn off turnovers then?
They should. They should think about doing it.
It's really dumb to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, he did say that Matt Rule's going to change that.
Maybe.
You got to go again. I did my thing based on resume. You got to argue here. Texas clearly, FSU better wins. I'm talking. I'd say Miami in Colorado going to TCU, which a person on this panel said was loaded and made it to the national title game. Grant they blew out, went basically undefeated in their conference, and they went on the road and they beat them.
You talking about me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I think
You
everybody
did
else
this last year.
Colorado.
You changed.
I did
Michigan,
not.
remember? And then he flipped it on Michigan
Yeah,
and
I
lost to
didn't.
TCU.
Well, but
He'll
if he
win.
doesn't like a team
Yeah.
and they prove him wrong, it's never the team. It's like, well, the team they beat.
And
was
here's
worse.
what everyone should know. This is free money. If Colorado goes and wins the next 2 games, they're 4-0. Brandon will flip and say Colorado's incredible. That's when you bet USC.
Correct.
I'm not going to flip.
Okay.
Well, you will.
They're
have
not
him
going to beat Oregon on the road.
Well, you will have him at the
I don't
top
know.
10.
You keep saying this. Let's take everything out of it. The quarterback, Shador.
He's good. He's good.
How good?
He's very good.
So why do you get then if you're in college
Yeah.
and you have a quarterback that good and some skill guys who are very good around, you
Yeah.
can beat anybody.
I'm anxious to see Nebraska's offense is so garbage and that quarterback is so garbage. I would like to see how improved the defense is for Colorado because they weren't very good against TCU. Oregon's going to test them at least. Can you at least?
Yeah, no, that's going to be a
Absolutely.
hell of a game.
It ain't. Is it really?
So
it
will
isn't really a
USC.
question about Colorado's offense anymore. I think they're going to score a lot. Obviously, Shador is way better than I thought he was going to be.
And I think they might be able to
Should-
win shootouts.
Yeah, the thing.
But
about
they're going to be in shootouts every week in that conference.
I've watched almost every snap of Colorado. I don't think I've seen Shador put the ball in jeopardy once.
He's been perfect.
When he should throw it away, he throws it away. He's poised.
And
everything.
you were right. He didn't play this well in Jackson State. Like they didn't unleash him in Jackson State like
They were far more conservative.
They were far more conservative.
I think he knew he had a defense.
He didn't
that
push
could
the ball
smother.
down the field nearly as much as he pushed him down the field now.
Was it you
Sean
that
Lewis.
said that he was going to be the number 1 overall draft pick and Caleb Williams liked it? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did. I said he'd be number 1, and I saw us say he's taking receipts. This is not hyperbole. I always screw up that word. I would take
Hyperbole.
Shador ahead of Williams. I think he. No.
Caleb Williams is the best player in the country.
I don't trust anything you say. I think
He won the Heisman.
With the Heisman.
So listen, I don't like doing my boy dirty like this, but Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. He didn't translate to the NFL.
Eric Crouch won a
He's not going to
Heisman.
be the number 2 pick either. Like Drake May exists.
I mean,
Well, Brady was sixth
he
round.
might stay though.
Yeah, you might say.
I could see Shador staying. Travis Hunter to stay 1 more year.
If
Travis Hunter has to
I'm
stay.
watching,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm watching how they play
both could.
quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he translates to the NFL more than Williams.
What in the world makes you say that?
Tom Brady.
Caleb Williams is perfect.
Yeah.
Like Caleb Williams
Caleb
never.
Williams-
I like
Patrick
Caleb
Mahomes.
Williams. Yeah, I mean Caleb Williams very
Okay,
good.
we'll see.
But he's
Mark it down. Put a pen in it. Put a pin in it.
What Shador Sanders
Take
has
her-
done for 2 games, Caleb
that?
Williams has
I
done
said, what,
for
they
2.5
both could
years.
go number 1.
Yeah. No.
I think
saying he
Shador's.
could
I
stay?
think he's going to
Yeah.
stay. I think Caleb's going to go out and Shador's going to stay in college again.
What if the Bears take 1 and 2, Caleb Williams and Shador?
Just keep taking.
Yeah,
Somebody's
why
gotta
not?
hit.
Just take a shot.
okay. Anything else, fellas?
That felt
No.
good. I enjoyed
Felt
that.
good. Yeah,
Good
that was
show.
nice. A lot of good back and forth. All right, we'll be back in studio next week for week 4. Enjoy your week 3 slate, and we'll see you then.